I hope everyone that you can hear me. Good day. Once again, this is your teacher Jetro J Magno, and have a great day. So today I have come to a conclusion that I will have a video recording to you. So here it is. We have our another topic. It is called morphology. After the phonology, we have the morphology. And before we start, let's read free bound morphemes. What are these? What is the free? What is free morpheme? What is bound morpheme? And this talks about we are talking about the morphology. So let's start in here. But before we talk about the free or bound morphemes, let's talk about what is morphology. But what is morphology here? So actually, morphology. This is morph. This is morph. It is an anagram of form. So it is the form. So morphology is all about the formation of words. Okay, so morphology is a study about the formation of verb. Remember morph, form, morphology. And in here, this is the basic introduction. Morphology is all about the word formation. The word formation and formation, this is just a joke. I hope that you get it. Okay, so in here, okay, so since we already know about the morphology, morphology is all about the word formation, and the phonology is all about the very small unit of sound and its meaning. So we are done with sound. So let's talk about the word. And we are here in morphology. Since we have a word, we are talking not just one word, but all of the words that have meaning or don't have meaning or doesn't have meaning. That's why it is important for us to study morphology because language, communication, the conversational routine every day revolves around morphology. We have word, we talk, we understand each other. But when we don't have words, when we are just using non-verbal communication, just like um, gestures, body language, dancing, anything, it is really hard for us uh, to understand the specific meaning of a language if it is just a non-verbal. But since we people have this nature of being verbally competent enough to explain, to understand, how to interact, we use word, and this is the reason why it is important for us to study morphology. And this is the very basic component and the very foundation of human existence, the language, the word. So in here, let's talk about the study of morpheme. Since we are done with morphology, we have morpheme. Just like phonology, we have phoneme. So in here, morphology, we have morpheme. And what is morpheme? The study of morpheme. And in here, morphology is the study of morpheme. That's it. So when we are talking about morpheme is the basic unit of a word. So when we talk about a word, it is the morpheme. Or maybe not just a word. Let's explore more afterwards. So morphology, the study of morpheme and the way they are arranged. To study morphology, you need to know what morpheme is. So everyone, what is morpheme? We don't know. So let's start in here. Morpheme is the smallest unit of language, just like the phoneme, smallest unit of sound. We have the smallest unit of language, and just like what I have said earlier, that when we have this what we call the word, we understand each other. We understand the basic component of human language. Since we understand, we comprehend, we interact, we have a communication, we have an interaction, we have a transactional. So in here, let's try, for example, since we are done with everyone, we know about morphology. It is the study of word formation since we are talking about the word right now. And we have morpheme, the basic component or the smallest unit of language. Let's start an example in here. We have a dog. Warf, warf, dogs. Dogs in here. So basically, dog or dogs, this is the morpheme. Why? This is a morpheme, the dog. Because this is a word. But is it the whole word itself is the morpheme? Let's find out. So in here, since we are, uh, let's connect it. When we talk about morphology, we are talking about the word formation. So in the dogs, how do we put the words in order for us to come up with a word dog? Do we use the dog plus s, or we use the do plus gz, the gs, or do we use the and the ogs? So that is the reason why it is important for us to study morphology, because this is how we interpret and we digest. I mean, we evaluate how people, how human, how the ancestors tried to form a word, to form another word, to form another word again, just like the sound. To form another sound, we have phonology, phonology into syllable. So the sala, so that is the syllable. Sil, so that is the syllable. Then after the syllable, syllable plus syllable plus syllable, we have a word. So we have in here the morphology. So phonology, syllable, then the word. And after the word, what comes next? Word to word, a phrase. A phrase to phrase, a sentence to, to sentence, a paragraph. A paragraph to a paragraph, maybe an essay, an article. An article to article, an essay to essay, a story to a story, maybe a novel or a compilation. So that's how everything revolves around our topic today. So in here, let's go back. The dogs actually, this is a morpheme, but of this composes of two morphemes. Why? Because basically again, what is morpheme? Morpheme is the smallest unit of language. So what is the smallest unit of language in dogs? We have dog. Why dog? Why we should not consider the dogs directly? Because we can comprehend dog before dogs. Before dogs made, there is one dog, right? But in here, we should look what the root word is or the basic word is. So the basic word in here is not the do. This is not the root word in here, because look, what is this? The arf arf arf. This is a dog. So basically, we have what we call dog 1 and s plus 1. So we have two morphemes. And in here, the dog in here, one morpheme, another one morpheme. Sir, my question is, you said earlier, as you can see, let's go back, sir. Okay, let's go back. I am answering my own question. Let's go back, sir. Sir, you said earlier that morpheme is the smallest unit of language. Sir, my question is, this S, this one, sir, do we have a meaning of this? This is a phoneme, sir. This is a phone, a smallest unit of language that comprehends meaning. The answer is, when we talk about morphology, this S, the sound S or the letter S, have its own meaning. Okay? So basically, we have two morphemes. And let's go to the next page, why we are talking about two morphemes. So in here, class, as you can see, let's dissect. Do you know what is dissect? Like we are trying to open the internal organs of a frog, and let's try to name the parts of its internal organs. So in here we have the dog. The dog in here is a morpheme, and the S in here is the morpheme because dog plus S equals dogs. One dog, and when we have S equals two or more dogs. So in here, the dog, this is what we call the free morpheme. And the S in here is the bound morpheme. Sir, what is free morpheme? When we talk about free morpheme class in linguistics, free morpheme is a morpheme or a word that can stand alone and has its own meaning. This is also called a root word or the basic word. So in here, the root word we have is dog. This one, the dog. And this is free morpheme because it can stand alone. When we hear the dog, we, in our brains, can easily find the dog that says arf, arf, arf. And it can stand alone. The word itself can stand alone. The dog, it is an animal. It has four legs. It barks. What else? It has tail. It maybe it sometimes we can see color brown dogs, black dogs, white dogs. So it can stand alone. But sir, what is bound morpheme? This is versus. What is bound morpheme, sir? So class, my question is this S sound can stand alone? No, it won't, and it can't, and it will never will. So it can stand alone. So when we hear the sound S or the S, it's like it is not a word, sir. It is a sound only, just like what we called phoneme or the phones. So basically, this is a morpheme when we talk about morphology, but in phonology, this is another topic. So let's not go back to morphology. I mean to phonology. Let's focus on morphology. So in here, the bound morpheme in here is the S. Okay, so it can stand alone, and the free morpheme can stand alone. So my random question is, are you free or bound? Can you stand alone or you can't stand alone? Okay, that's just a segue. So, okay, let's go. In here, let's try. Remember, we are done with in here the dogs, and we already know what is free morpheme, the title of our PowerPoint today, the free morpheme and the bound morpheme. So we are done with it. We already know what is morpheme. When we talk about morpheme, it can stand alone, just like jog, man, wallet, cell phone, or cell, or phone, or blanket, love, basic, all of the things. I mean, all of the words that can stand alone. It is the free morpheme. And the bound morpheme is it can stand alone, just like the S, the ED, like the anything. All of the bound morpheme and free morpheme will be discussed later on. So in here, let's take, for example, another critical word that is very, very critical. So in here, this is an example of a word, basic word. So sir, is this a morpheme? Yes, it is. But how can we identify if it is bound or free morpheme? So we need to dissect. Class, be reminded that in order for you to find the basic reason why it is free or bound morpheme, you need to look the root word. What is the root word of unsystematically? What is the the basic word? What is the root word in the unsystematically? So in here we have system. Okay, so class, remember system. This is not the sys. This is not the stem, but this is the system. This is the very basic component. Okay. Okay, very good. And in here, so let's go. Let's try to have a step-by-step process. So, sir, how many morphemes we have in unsystematically? So we have system, number one. Sir, what is un? This is a negative affix, so this is two. So one, another one. Sir, how about this attically? So we have Lee. So this one. And this attic, actually, if you are familiar with the prefixes, the suffixes, the the prefixes, you can identify directly that this attic is another suffix or infixes. So this is an affix. So we have two and the al, just like practical or practice, prac, practical. So another one. So, sir, how many morphemes do we have in the word unsystematically? So we have one, two, three, four, five. We have five morphemes. So right now, I want you to look for a word, any word in your that you can see in your table or maybe in your cell phone, and try to dissect the word itself. For instance, I read this window. So what could be how many morpheme could I dissect? Is it a bound? Is it a free? Okay, next time I want you to try it. Okay, so let's go back in here. We have five morphemes, sir. We have un, we have system, we have attic, we have al, we have lee. In order for us to identify again, just like what we did last time, when the dog is the free morpheme and the s is the bound morpheme. So in here, let's try the word unsystematically. So in here, class, we have the un. It can is it this un word can stand alone or not? No, sir. That's correct. So this will be the bound. And the system, we can really understand a system. And this is a very basic word. When we talk about system, maybe it is a pattern or a rule or a set of views. So since this is a system, this is a free morpheme. Attic, do we have a meaning of attic? Yes, we have, but can it stand alone? No. So this is the bound. The al will be bound and the li will be bound. So we have one free and four bound morpheme. So right now, let's identify since, sir, I can see that since we have four bound morpheme, there are so many bound morpheme. Do they have a set of variety? Yes, we have. The answer is yes. So we have actually class, we have one prefix, two infixes, and the three is suffix. So what is prefix? All of the remember class when we talk about prefix, since this is pre, it means to say before or at the beginning. So when we have a root word and when we have an affix in here, it is the pre. Okay, always remember the the bound that starts in the beginning before before the root word will be the prefix, the pre, the beginning. So next, the suffix, remember su, this is the last. So what is the last bound in here will be the suffix, okay? Just like when we talk about kindly, kindly. So this will be the suffix, okay? Suffix. Then how about when we talk about retell? So tell is the root word and the re is the prefix. And how about this one? We have the affixes class. The general term of this one, the three of these are we called affix or affixes. Just like that one, okay? Please take note of that. So in here, observe what will happen, or how do we call when an affix or affixes are at the middle of the word. So it is called infixes. In, it means in the middle. Okay, so prefixes for pre, beginning, suffix for so, last, then we have infixes in the middle. Okay, okay, very good. So I hope that you get the point why we have bound, free, morpheme, and why we talk about the prefix, infixes, and suffix. So let's go to the next page. And okay, right now let's try to identify which is the bound and free morpheme, and also which type of affix it is. Okay, so in here, let's try for example. Class, I want you to please uh, try this out. The kindly, which of them is the free, the bound, or inbound? What type of affix? Is it the pre? Is it the in? Or is it the suff? Okay? Any word in here. Any word in here. You know you can do it. Okay, time is up. I'm so sorry. Our time is limited. So in here, class, let's try, for example, in here. Okay, this will be the answer. I directly make made the answer. So we have the kindly in here, the first word. So we have the kind. It is the free morpheme because kind is the very basic word, the root word that we can easily understand. And the li in here will be the bound because it can stand alone. It needs another word in order for it to have a meaning. And what type of affix this is? This is the suffix. So this will be at the end. So this will be a suffix. So love. What is the root word of love? Do we have free or bound in here? No bound. This is all free. Love is free. Woohoo! Okay, we have reaction. So the very root word over here is act. Not action, not react, but act. Act only. So this is the free morpheme. So this is the root word. Remember, class, what we are looking what we should look first is the free morpheme or the root word in a word. So since we have the root word itself, we there are two remaining maybe syllable or sound or morpheme that we can identify or we should identify. So we have re and we have ion or shun. It depends on the word. So this is will be um, this is the re in here. Let's go with the re. The re will be the bound, and this will be the prefix because this is an affix that starts at the beginning of the free morpheme, which is the act. And shon or ion, you can say ion in here or the shon. It depends. It really depends on the word. So we have it. This will be bound, and this will be suffix because this is at the end of the word. And we have the misguided. The guide will be free. The guide in here, in here. So this is the free morpheme, and the miss is this one. So this is a negative, an affix. So this will be a prefix, and the ed, though this will be the e, but we can also say d. It really depends. Okay. So this will be the bound, and this will be the suffix. Okay. Okay, everyone, I hope you understand how we dissect or how we identify the free morpheme, the bound morpheme, and how do we identify the bound morpheme, especially the affixes, namely the prefix, the what is the middle? The I forgot. Infix and the last is the suffix. Okay, so we have a clear. I hope that we have a clear discussion about this one. So let's proceed with, okay, let me delete this. Mm, Okay, everyone, I hope that you really have a clearer and clearest understanding of my lesson today. So in here, let's try to identify, since we are done with inflectional and I mean let's since we are done with again the bound and the free morpheme and the affixes, let's talk about the morpheme itself. So we have the bound morpheme, those morpheme that cannot stand alone, and we have free morpheme that can stand alone. So class, remember, though we have the affixes, the bound morpheme should be divided into two. So this will be inflectional and derivational. So the bound morpheme will be divided into two, the inflectional and derivational, okay? So let's start in here. The bound morpheme, inflectional. Since when we talk about inflectional, it is just inflect. Inflect. It means it is just trying to put another connection to the word. Okay? Okay. Class, this is not the change of category. This is just a change of, okay, this will be change of tenses, tenses or mood in here. So this is the inflectional. And in here, okay, uh, maybe I should start with inflectional. So, okay, so in here, class, inflectional, it changes the tenses, change of tenses or mood. For example, we have the read, and our word for today is reads in here, reads. So let's try to dissect. We have the read as the verb, just like reading, read. That is a verb, and the s as affix. Okay. Where is my? Hmm. Okay. Next is I'm looking for D. Where is the? Okay, that's it. Why I cannot? So we okay. I will just continue, even though I cannot access the annotate the pencil. Okay, so inflectional in here, the word reads. We have the word read as verb and the s as affix. So this will be the suffix. Try to understand. Since read is the basic word, so it will be it is a verb, right? This one, this first, this is okay here. Wait a minute. Okay, delete it. Okay, so this is the word, the verb. Read is a verb, but when we put an s, though this is a bound morpheme, when we put an s, it will become reads. So the reads in here will not change into another category or another speech. This is just another verb again, but in a person singular. So this is the reads. Remember, reads is the verb, read is the verb. So verb to verb, that is inflectional. Just like, for example, actually, class, I cannot write. I don't know what happened to my functions in here. Okay, for example, um, we have jump, jump, Jump. Okay, Jump. Let's have paint. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, actually, I cannot. Okay, jump, Jump. I try to imagine in class. Then, when we put s, so it will be jumps, but it is still verb, right? Jump or jump, it is just still verb. Even we put jumped, like Jumped, it is a past tense, so it is just a tense. So that is inflectional. You are not changing the category of the word, but you are just changing the tense by using the bound morpheme, just like the affixes. Okay? So I hope it is clear for you what is inflectional. Let's go to derivational in here at the right corner. When we talk about derivational, we are talking about changing the category. When we talk about category, we have the verb, noun, adjective, pronoun, just like all of those things, okay? So in here, class, we have an example, the sing, this one. Actually, the word in here is singer, but let's digest each word, each morpheme. We have sing and So what is sing? Sing is a verb, like you are singing, sing, that is a verb. But when we put a bound morpheme, just like singer, that will be a noun, singer, a person who sings, or the person who sing. So that will change from verb as a sing plus er will be a singer, that will be a noun. So verb plus noun. So that will be derivational. It derives, just like you are creating another type of verb from the morpheme that you put. Okay? So I hope everyone that you understand what is inflectional and derivational. Okay? Class? Okay? I hope that it is clear to you, okay? So in here, let me, what is the next? I cannot access the next anymore. What should I do? Let me stop the share and share again. And, okay, okay. So that will be inflectional and that will be derivational, okay? So let's go back again. When we talk about inflectional, this one, we are just changing this is not. We are just changing the tenses or the mood. We are not changing the category of the word. So read from the verb, and when we talk about reads, it's just a verb. So verb to verb. In the derivational, sing, this will be a verb, sing, just like singing. And when we talk about plus er, the bound morpheme, that will be a noun. So from verb to noun, we add another bound morpheme. So it will become a derivational morpheme, okay? So morpheme, bound morpheme, free morpheme. In bound morpheme, we have inflectional and derivational. I hope everyone get it. So let's continue. This will be the last, I think. So, okay. I just want you to please read this by yourself because this is just uh, basic information. Inflectional, we have these inflectionals. Okay, so when we put this one, it will change uh, the the tenses, the functions, but not the word itself or the category. Okay. Next is derivational, just like this one. Just read it by yourself because I know that you are students are good enough or smart enough to understand this one. So overall, in here we have free morpheme, bound morpheme, and uh, below them is the derivational and inflectional. And in derivational, we are changing the word to form another category. So we have prefix and suffix. So we can change like um, in here, inflectional, suffix only, okay? And the morpheme can stand alone. I hope everyone got my point, got what morpheme is, and what is free and bound morpheme, and what is the prefixes, suffixes, and infixes. And class, I am so happy that I have made this one. I hope that you get my point. My point. If you have questions, just please feel free to ask the GC, and please send a personal message to me. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you.